back to RPMbassy. We are looking at our top 10 7-inch singles. Check out number 10 if you haven't, and check out this one, which we can talk about now. So at number 9, I'm going to start this one off. Now this is a little 7-inch. Again, this came out in the early noughties. It's by a band called The White Sport, and the track is called Skag Lover, which I love the title. White Sport were a 3-piece bands, and they were around again the early noughties. Like 2002, 2003. There's so much exciting music coming out then during the Electro Clash, because the Electro Clash era, not only did you have like the electro pop, you had electro punk, you had the combination of like guitars with electronic. It was just a mixture of all sorts, and this is one of the bands that kind of came out of that era. I mean, you had things like LCD Sound System, you had the White Sport, you had there was loads that I'm sure I'm going to talk about in the future. Whitey was another one, who's huge. But this little, I used to work in a record shop called Coke and Design, which is kind of a famous little record shop at the time, the fashion shop, and we used to sell records. And I remember the 7-inch came in, and I put it on, and I just absolutely loved it with this like low growling bass line and this very kind of Germanic kind of vocal over the top. I loved it, and the cover's really simple. And it came out on a label called High Society. Now the 3 guys in the band, Andrew, Patrick, and Adam, later went on to join Baby Shambles. So they were part of Baby Shambles after this, and they're still doing the band now, because I've seen them on. I did a bit of research for this single, and I think it's Andrew just doing it now as the White Sport. But they're still around. But this single still available. You can still find it, and I just love it. And hopefully we're gonna have a little snippet of the track during the video, but listen to it. It's outstanding. Single, please find it. Skag Lover and The White Sport. Over to Mark.
Nice. So for my number 9, I've gone for the Talking Heads single Road to Nowhere. So this is a 1985 track off of Little Creatures. The B-side on this album on this single is also from Little Creatures. David Byrne has said it's kind of like a joyful look at Doom, which kind of makes sense. Like, again, a lot of these singles that I've picked are kind of a little bit off-kilter lyrically, but they kind of, there's sort of double entendres and stuff like that, and they kind of hide a message within the song. Like the song itself, like in terms of the sound, you know, you've got that kind of gospel choir at the beginning, and it's quite like upbeat, like the dun 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 dun, things like that. Like on the face of it, it sounds like quite a poppy upbeat song, but then like you listen to what they're saying, like, oh well, we know where we're going and things like that, and you know, just the name of the song itself, Road to Nowhere, it's kind of like looking at life as being like a path to death and things like that. And it was kind of like their last big song, really. They did have a couple of singles afterwards from like Naked as well, but this was the last one that kind of really had any sort of massive chart impact. And you can kind of see everything that came afterwards, where that was sort of the slow decline of the band. I don't dislike anything they ever did, but I think from sort of 80 through to 85, 86 was kind of where they were at their best. B-side on this one is Television Man. I believe it's either the track directly before or directly after on the album. Again, Television Man, it's kind of a bit of a goofy song, but then when you listen to the lyrics, it is a song that, if you were to change the word television to telephone and release it today, it would be just as relevant. Like, all of it is about this guy who kind of like builds his personality around what he sees on television. It's kind of got that sort of don't believe the media, don't kind of buy into the hype and things like that. And in a way, actually, it's kind of more true now than it would have been back then. The way like everything is so divisive online and on TV and things like that. So lyrically, it's a really, really well put together song. Musically, it's a little bit wacky, a little bit goofy. I'm not huge on it, but it's one of those ones I can appreciate just because of the lyricism and like listening to the message that it has to give and how it manages to stay so fresh in terms of its subject matter even now. So yeah, that's number 9.
Just want to say something about that first before I move on. To me, Talking Heads are a bit like Dire Straits.
Yeah, I can kind of get that, yeah.
I mean, it's a band that I've really tried to like. I don't have any Talking Heads in my collection at all. Nothing. and I've tried. The only good thing that came out of Talking Heads for me was the two that left and did like Wordy Rapping Hood in. So that was amazing. But I've tried to like them, but they just don't talk to me, man.
No, I do think like a lot of stuff that David Byrne did after is, in a way, is kind of more accessible despite being experimental.
Yeah.
There's some of the stuff that he did like in the 90s is like fucking weird.
Really?
But I actually really, really love that stuff.
Well, didn't he do a track with Express 2? That I think his vocals did suit Express 2.
Yeah.
That was a big track at the time. I think it was like the end of the 90s, wasn't it? I used to play that quite a lot, and there was a really good mix of that, Peace Division mix. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I can always appreciate, at the very least, as I said, like some of the stuff after like 1985, 1986, some of their stuff doesn't sit as well with me, but it's one of those groups that I can always appreciate everything they did just from an artistic perspective. I think they kind of had what they wanted to push, and they pushed it, and it was kind of no compromises. At least it felt from their perspective, which I always like. Yeah.
Where did you get the 70s from? Did you buy it, or did you?
No, yeah. This is one I bought. I don't think there's any inherited ones within this entire collection.
Because normally when friends who've got like older singles, they've inherited it from their older brother or something like that. So it's just quite intrigued that you went and bought that.
No, yeah. The stuff that I do have that is inherited is mostly tat.
Right.
But the stuff that I've picked out
tat?
Is stuff I picked out is good stuff that I specifically sought out. But yeah, as I said, it's not an expensive one to pick up, so anybody could go out and grab it. It's it's a nice thing to have in the collection, and Road to Nowhere itself, fantastic track.
Brilliant. So hope you enjoyed that, and join us for the next video, which is number
8.
Perfect. Thank you very much.